It's time to get lost in the midcard. This Believe in Pro Wrestling property is brought to you by Bet Online, the continued #1 source for all your sports betting needs. Join now and receive your 100% welcome bonus on your first deposit when you use our promo code BELIEVE. Now, here are Jeremy Bennett and Matt Black on the Believe Podcast Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast where, much like Seth Rollins, I still hate football. It is Lost in the Midcard. Welcome. Our last show of October. Hard to believe, but it is already Halloween tomorrow. Crown Jewel on Saturday. Then basically, I think full gear next in the line, right?
When's Survivor Series? The week after?
That's a good question. That's a good question. 25th, yeah. So week after.
Yeah, week after then.
Full Gear's on a Saturday this year, right?
Yeah, Full Gear and World's End are both on Saturday night.
World's End is at the New Japan.
That's AEW's December 30th pay-per-view. That was announced.
World.
Dynamite.
I thought you were saying two things are on the 18th. I was confused for a minute. Yeah,
no,
World's
Full
End.
Gear on the 18th and World's End on December 30th. They're both on Saturday night.
Yep, I like Saturday better, kinda. I don't know.
I don't.
Maybe I like Sunday better. I don't know.
I like Sunday better.
I don't like AEW pay-per-views on a holiday is what I like. I don't like that, but
I like AEW pay-per-views on days I don't work, which is why I like them on Sunday.
Well, like with holidays, it's so much harder to travel. Everything's so much more expensive. So that's why I don't like the pay-per-views on holidays. But alas,
I get what they're going for, but it's just it doesn't. It's not as efficient as he thinks it is.
Yeah.
Especially the Vegas trip. On that weekend, it's a cost. It's not cost effective. It's probably the worst price trip of the year if you're going to an AEW event for travel and hotel and everything. That weekend going to Vegas it's terrible. Like that's the one pay-per-view a year that I really wouldn't go out of my way to go to because of everything that that comes out of having to go into Vegas that weekend.
Yeah, I mean, half the time you could get a cheap flight to Vegas, but on a holiday, it's
but not that weekend. You're right. More often than not, you can go to Vegas for pretty dirt cheap. But that weekend in particular, it's jacked. It's jacked way up. Hotels are jacked way up. It's a very costly trip that weekend.
Yeah,
and I wish I really like. I don't expect them to do this because Tony really seems set in his ways on this kind of stuff, but I would love to see them move Double or Nothing out of Las Vegas next year. And I think it would do a lot better, attendance wise if they got out of there.
Exactly.
I don't expect them to get out of there, but I would like them to get out of there.
If you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Believe in Pro Wrestling. That's BLEAV. Also, if you want to enter that contest, you only got 2 more days to get yourself a trip to Full Gear. I believe the winners are going to be drawn on either November 1st or 2nd. What you got to do is subscribe to Believe in Pro Wrestling's YouTube channel and also retweet the pinned tweet on Rick Uccino's Twitter account at Rick, R-I-C-K, Uccino, U-C-C-H-I-N-O. Get yourself entered in for a chance to go to Full Gear on Saturday, November 18th, headlined by Jay White and now confirmed MJF after defeating Kenny Omega on Collision this past Saturday. I'm your host, Jeremy Bennett. You can follow me on the Twitter at JBHuskers, and as always, my co-host, he is on the Twitter at Raw F Showtime, Mr. Matt Black. Matt, how you doing?
Doing all right, man. Hoping for a good episode of Raw tonight.
I
remember last week was not that great.
It was a
bore. I'm hoping we get a better show tonight.
Oh my God. It was like it was a bore last Monday. I did not like it. I mean, it's decent, but it was just a full of nothing. Thank you for everybody joining us in the chat as always.
What's the game tonight? What are they going? I know they're already going against the World Series, but what NFL games tonight?
Lions and Raiders.
Hell, I don't expect that to take a gigantic chunk of their audience away. I mean, you're going to get the typical it's NFL, I'm going to watch audience that will go there, but I would think between them and the World Series, I fear WWE might punt tonight and give us a nothing show.
Yeah, I might.
I really hope they don't do, because this is their last Raw before Crown Jewel.
Yeah,
and I'd appreciate them putting their best foot forward, because this is officially the go. SmackDown was taped. This Friday,
I was gonna say.
was taped a couple of days ago. So I mean, if you're looking at it from that perspective, this is really the last live WWE show before Crown Jewel on Saturday. So I'm really hoping that they deliver us a good show tonight. Get us hyped about the event on Saturday afternoon.
Well, the card so far: JD McDonough taking on Seth freaking Rollins, Dirty Dom taking on Ricochet, non-title. DIY taking on Imperium, Natalia against Chelsea Green in a trick or street fight, and Candice LeRae against Xia Li.
I mean, it doesn't sound great on paper, but
let's see what Sean Ross Sapp comes up with later on in the hour.
I mean, this is going to come across as a good show. So
yeah. Oh, look at that. Patreon's down right now. Did you see the spoilers for
Patreon
SmackDown?
Down?
Oh, it's back up now. I hit refresh and it didn't work. Did you look at the spoilers at all for SmackDown?
Yeah, nothing stood out to me. I looked at it on Friday and I don't remember any of it now. So yeah. I mean, that should really tell you all there is to know about what the effort they put in on Friday night for the go home show.
I went to Fozzy on Friday, and
they put on a great show, man.
It was amazing. My buddy was dressed as Blunt Man, you know, the Kevin Smith.
Yes.
He made top 3, so he got to go on stage with Jericho. This dude dressed as Bob Ross, and his girl was a painting, and that ended up winning. But another guy was dressed as some weird, I don't know what the hell they were. They should not have gotten second. A lot of people thought my buddy should have won, but the Bob Ross one was pretty good, though, I got to admit. But let me see if I can.
But you got La Parka Jericho on Friday night. Lucky
I did.
you. So
I did. Give me. Let me see here. Oh, here we go. let me get a photo that doesn't have a finger in the way. First off, and then let me get this loaded up here in the downloads and put her up here in the old fancy StreamYard. You know, this thing is technologically advanced, but yeah, here, and I was literally second row, so there's a good shot of him, my buddy with Jericho.
That's hilarious.
Did I take one of Bob Ross? Oh, I got kind of one with Bob Ross here. I can let me download
let's
that.
see this freaking Bob Ross jobber.
Yeah, here let me adding right now. Here's the winner. You can't really see his girl. She's kind of hidden behind Jericho's skull and spine that are hanging off his mic stand there.
That's not good at all, dude.
Yeah,
it barely looks like Bob Ross.
And the honestly, other guy
your
was
friend
just
looks a lot more like Kevin Smith than that guy looks like Bob Ross.
Yeah, I know.
Was Bob Ross's girlfriend attractive?
I can't remember. I didn't. They were in front of me when I first got to the show.
I'm gonna say if she was, that's why they won.
I'm gonna say, I don't know.
I was expecting a much better Bob Ross costume than that. That's bad, dude.
Like, I got a photo of like half her face, and it's like, well, she's all right. I mean, she ain't a complete knockout or anything, but I did get some good shots because obviously I was like literally second row-ish, which was amazing.
Yeah, you were pretty close.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing considering I take a lot of beer breaks, but the left side of the stage was pretty open, so it was kind of easy to get up there. People probably don't like listening or being by the speakers. They'd probably rather be in the middle or something like that. And so I don't care.
There's a question in the chat we have to answer because it's
let's get to the chat because we haven't got to it yet. Thank you everybody for joining the chat live. Let's get back at Steven Chambers. Thanks for joining us as always. And yes, I did see that. Somebody sent me that earlier. SmackDown, the 12th in Lincoln.
Are you going? The road to the Ramble. You're going.
I'll probably
JB in the house.
I'm a good lock. Right now the tickets are on sale Friday, but I'm not going to try to get close.
Just wait.
Yeah,
I'm just going
to get a $20.
They do sales on everything. That's how they're selling all their tickets right now. I've gotten so many emails about the upcoming show in Baltimore. Like all these, like 30% off, buy one get one free. Like all these different, this is how their tickets are being distributed. Like everybody's like WWE's going crazy with sellouts. Well, I think it's probably because of all the sales that they're putting on after the tickets go on sale, and that's not a bad thing, but
it's a good thing.
It just proves that they're not no wrestling shows doing instant sellouts right now. They're going on sale, like tickets sell for your average show, and then they put shit on sale, and then people buy them then.
I'll get lower bowl for
really
20.
That's what the thing is now. People wait closer to the event because they know wrestling companies are putting their tickets on sale.
Yeah, I'll get lower.
AEW, WWE across the board, they're all doing it.
I'll easily get lower bowl for 20. I'm not worried. Gamer Bear, thanks for joining us. Ozzy, happy dance. Actually, he's actually happy for Rick Spangles when he's usually talking shit about him.
He's always talking smack.
How about them Cowboys? I fucking put the Cowboys defense. I put the damn defense on the bench.
Oh no, you didn't.
Which they scored 22. Well, they're so Jekyll and Hyde this year.
I know, but
so I am down 15 in my league. I am down 15.
I got my ass kicked this weekend, and the only this is the first week of fantasy where it didn't matter what I'd play based on my bench or my starters, I wouldn't have won anyway.
Yeah.
So this is the first week I could actually go, you know what? It wasn't my week. It's not because I didn't start somebody that was sitting on my bench that blew up.
Ridley had a good game, by the way.
No better than what my wide receivers did. I already looked at his numbers. So I was very happy to cut his ass. But honestly, he did no better than what I had. Just my opponent had, they had George Kittle and they had CeeDee Lamb from the Cowboys that got 30 freaking points.
Yeah, I got him in my league.
And yeah, she had a monster team that I was up against. She had a wide receiver from the Thursday game that put up 25. And so I was coming in a 25 deficit before the game even started. There was no winning for me in that game. So
yeah, I have Lamb in 2 leagues. One of my bigger leagues that I share with a buddy of mine. It's a dynasty auction league, which is so far really one of my favorite formats because if you keep the guy, he costs $5 more next year. It's a lot of fun, a lot of trading, a lot of stuff a lot of action goes on there. In my league, I am down 14. I would have been winning if I would have started the Cowboys D, but I am down 14 and I've got the Lions D and Sam Laporta. So hypothetically,
you have a decent chance of winning tonight.
Yeah. ESPN tells me I have a 72% chance of winning, but my big money league that I have not won a single game yet this year because I had 3 injuries to 3 running backs in 5 weeks. I had a 99% chance of winning, it said, and I lost. He had somehow Trey McBride for Arizona showed up and scored 20. Then he had Purdy and Javonte Williams. So he had a big afternoon, even though he was only 1% chance to win. I needed just a simple 8 points from Palmer last night in the Sunday night game against the Bears. and he gets hurt, then comes back and is barely targeted. So again, I actually might have beat the average though. So I might go 1-1 this week, but I'm still two games. But I'm still 2 games in the shitter, in the cellar, where I gotta pay the 2 cases of beer at next year's draft.
My friend has proposed a very interesting league for me to join next year. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, and I can't remember what the name of it's called. But essentially, everybody gets like a base salary at the beginning after the draft, and after the first week, the team that scores the lowest overall points is eliminated from the league, and all their players go up for auction. And you can use that your base salary to like sign and pick up players in like an auction style thing.
Last place is kicked out?
Yes.
Wow.
So like for every week, whoever's team has the lowest score, they're out. They're out of the league, and their players,
for the week.
go up for auction. So I'm like, this is a wild. I've never heard of anything like this before, and I figured, hey, the worst thing that could happen is I get bounced off in week 1, and I don't have to worry about it for the rest of the season. I'm gonna give it a shot. It sounds like fun.
How's that work? It only lasts like 2 weeks.
No, he's planning on having a bunch of teams in there.
Oh, he's starting it in the mid-season?
No, this is for next season.
Oh, how the hell do you?
I'll try to get the details from him.
Those are like
and get them to you off the air.
So like 20 teams, and you're going to be drafting the water boy for the Cardinals.
Like I said, I'll let you know that I'm gonna try to get more details out of him, and I'll pass them along to you. I just thought it sounded like an interesting concept that I had never heard of. We
Jose G, thanks for joining the show.
You passed over Ozzy's question that I wanted to talk about.
Well, hold on a second. Mark Cho talking about the Jaguars. I did not realize the Jaguars are freaking 6-2. That kind of surprised, because my big money league, I have Trevor Lawrence, and he hasn't done shit this year. Ozzy's question.
Look, anybody can beat the Steelers offense right now, so it's not really that big of a surprise that you guys won. So
now that Pickett's hurt too, so
Trubisky did fine for what he had to work with.
Talking about Rousey?
Until Matt Canada's gone, yeah.
Oh, Canada, Jesus!
Until Matt Canada's gone, our offense is gonna be dog shit.
Pat McAfee has started
I've just accepted the fact that that's what we're stuck with now.
Pat McAfee has started, not started, but for some reason, just because it's mentioned. Well, Tone Diggs is a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, so they talk about Steelers, and he wants Canada fired. So now it seems like
I wanted Canada gone last year.
Every game day location, because the guys on almost every week, the whole show travels, and they do the Pat McAfee show live from where they're doing game day on Fridays. They'll do it on Friday live in the morning. And they were in Utah because it was a ranked matchup, Utah-Oregon, even though Oregon spanked Utah. There was a Fire Canada chant in Utah just randomly during the show. Just because
there should be.
And there was a Fire Canada chant the week before where they were. I forget where they were the week before, but it's hilarious. I think it started.
There was a Fire Canada sign at AEW the other week.
It started, I saw that. I think it started with the Ohio State game. Was the first time on McAfee show that the Fire Canada chant started, but boy, that was hilarious. That the Utah crowd, especially during both McAfee and College Game Day, they were pretty wild. It was a shame that they got spanked. What question were you talking about? Ronda Rousey or what?
Yeah, the Ronda Rousey question.
We got that coming up. She did not sing with AEW, but
I don't think she's signed yet either.
I got information on that if we get there. We'll probably rapid fire news after we get done with a couple of bigger stories. We'll get to that later. But first, let's get to our main story of the evident, and that is, of course, this show, Crown Jewel, headlined by LA Knight, against Roman Reigns for the WWE title. I don't know what you call that thing now. I guess it's World Universal or whatever. I don't know. It's hard telling what they call it now once you got all the damn, you got all the damn shit there. But Matt, what did you? Speaking of of LA Knight. What did you think of the contract signing to open up SmackDown on Friday?
I thought that was the best thing on the show. I thought the contract signing to open and Dragon Lee and Cedric Alexander were probably the best parts of SmackDown on Friday.
Yeah, they got Dragon Lee and Cedric definitely got the crowd going on that in that match. They did give them 8 minutes. I guess it's not
a ton of time, but still honestly more than I expected them to get. So I really enjoyed the match. I wish I would have gotten a little bit more time, but
I mean, we all know that LA Knight is not going to win, especially after he hits blunt force trauma at the end of the show. So we all know that
it's interference by Jimmy, it's interference by Solo, it's Roman Reigns with a spear, 1, 2, 3. Like that's what it's going to be. Like, and anybody that's expecting anything different is going in with unfair expectations for LA Knight. Like, it's not his fault. But this is going to be a paint by numbers Roman Reigns match. LA Knight's going to have the match won. The Bloodline's going to get involved multiple times. Roman's going to hit a spear, and Roman's going to win. That's the match. Like, we know the formula by now, and it's old and tired as all of Roman Reigns' breaks that he's had over the past 3 years.
LA Knight had some good digs on him though in that contract signing. That was a lot of fun.
Dude ain't even scheduled for Survivor Series. I'm so sick of his part-time ass.
Oh yeah,
so freaking sick of it, dude.
It's only one of the big 5 pay-per-views.
It's
all right. Let's run down the card. Amazingly, WWE has given us 7 matches to predict because usually by now we may only have 4 or 5 if we're lucky, but we do have 7 matches to predict on this show. Let's start with the Women's Championship. Io Sky, Bianca Belair. I've had a suspicion for almost all of this year that WrestleMania is going to be title for title Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair. In order for that to happen, Bianca Belair has to hold a title. I think Bianca's winning this.
Well, in order for that to happen, you're making the Royal Rumble mutant in January. That can't happen. Yeah. The only way that could happen is if Bianca won the Rumble, chose to challenge Ripley, and somewhere between the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, she won the SmackDown title along the way. Like that's the only way that works. You can't do a title for title and like not involve the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I guess unless
I think WrestleMania is Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill.
They have been teasing. That's what I think we're gonna. They have been teasing Becky and Rhea, so that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. I just had this weird suspicion that all along they were trying to get title for title with Bianca, but yet they pulled it off of her to give her a 2-month break. And I don't know. I just had this weird suspicion that they were going to go title for title. I mean, you're right about the Rumble, but which means you get to do a triple threat, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, so you got Io retaining here?
I do. I think Io retains.
John just announced last Friday, John Cena solo Sikoa. I would say Cena's going to put him over.
This is surprising to me because Cena was pretty clear previously that he wasn't going back to Saudi. So him going to Saudi for this match is surprising to me.
There's still him and Han on this strike thing.
Yeah, that strike doesn't seem like it's ending anytime soon either because they didn't get the shit settled over the weekend that they wanted to. I thought this would be the final weekend wrap up for Cena. But he might end up sticking around now because he ain't got nothing else to do.
I guarantee you he's getting 7 figures to go over there this weekend.
Here's the thing. If somehow they come to terms within the next 5 days, Solo's winning. But if Cena's sticking around and they can't get these things worked out, this whole storyline of Cena hasn't won a singles match since 2018.
Think he gets Roman then? It wins and gets Roman down the line?
I mean, I don't see them going back to Cena and Roman again. I mean, I guess they could. I guess they could do it at the Rumble.
Some people thought they were gonna. Some people thought they were gonna do it at Crown Jewel, but thankfully,
I always knew the plan was LA Knight. I always knew the plan was Knight. But here's the thing: it's hard to plan that far ahead with Cena. It's like a match for like a pay-per-view match between Cena and Reigns because that deal could come together at any time.
Yeah.
So like it's dangerous to plan that. I think if Cena's sticking around, I think Cena will win. Because like I said, he hasn't had a singles win since 2018, and that promo he cut, that weird ass promo he cut on SmackDown on Friday, it was almost like he has to win his next singles match. Or at that point, like, why are we even seeing him on TV anymore? Because of the way he was talking.
Or he loses to Sikoa and he starts questioning himself if he's got it.
He's already questioned himself. That's part of that's part of the story they should have waited to do after he lost.
Yeah.
But they did it beforehand, and so if he loses, it makes him look even worse. He's almost in a must-win situation at Crown Jewel on Saturday.
I guess, I mean, they have put the foot off of Solo.
It could come just as easy as Jimmy could try to get involved, and Jimmy screws up. Jimmy screws up his interference, it backfires, it leads to Cena winning. That way you protect Solo, you keep Roman Reigns mad at Jimmy, all that storyline continues to flow without a problem.
Yeah, because there was a time when, Solo was undefeated for a long time, but that ain't the case.
Yeah, now Solo's the guy that gets beat by the guy who's about to lose to Roman. That's pretty much Solo's job now.
Well, you may have swayed me twice in a row here. So Cody Rhodes, Damian Priest. Is this the standard Money in the Bank holder loses?
Yeah, Rhodes wins this. I wish they would have put some stakes on this. I wish this match was for the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Medium rare?
I think that would be awesome.
Right? Oh, man. Then, finishing the story gets more real.
It would have been a lot more interesting and a lot more to talk about had this match been for Damian Priest's Money in the Bank briefcase. I think there would be a lot more anticipation and excitement surrounding this match had they just done a very simple added stipulation match.
They got a Raw to do it in.
They do. They could do it tonight. Like I'm not saying they won't, but like they had an opportunity.
Are you listening,
to do it
Trips?
Last week and they didn't.
Trips, I know you're listening, Trips.
I think he's a little bit. I think he's a little busy right now getting the show.
He's watching us.
I don't think he's listening to us right now.
He's watching. He's watching us. Don't lie. He's delegating. United States Championship, Rey Mysterio, Logan Paul. Who you got?
I think they're putting it on Logan Paul, dude.
I agree.
I think
I felt that as soon as he called out Rey.
I think LA Knight's the one to take it from him.
Yeah.
I think LA Knight will be the guy that'll beat Logan Paul for that title.
Yeah.
So it'll give LA Knight a nice mainstream rub. More eyes will be on the match because of Logan Paul holding the title and doing all his media appearances with the title and everything. So yeah, I think Logan wins this weekend, maybe even due to interference of Dominic, and LA Knight's the one that will eventually beat Paul and become United States champion. So
yeah, I think Dom gets involved because I think we're nosediving into Dom and Ray at WrestleMania.
Unfortunately, it looks like they're going back to that well, and this time
Fatal five-way for the women's world title: Rhea Ripley, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, and Raquel Rodriguez. I think the obvious answer here is Rhea is going to escape, though part of me wants Shayna to win for a little bit, and then Rhea gets it back eventually, but I think Rhea comes out of it as the winner.
I see absolutely no way that Rhea doesn't retain here. I think no possible way. But yet Belair has a much better chance of leaving with the EOS title than any of those women have of leaving with Ripley's belt. I don't see it. I don't see it happening.
We'll save the unsure for last, so we'll give you the obvious next. We've already basically said who's winning this: Roman Reigns and LA Knight. Unfortunately, Roman Reigns.
Yep.
We know who's taking the title off of Reigns. So yeah, it's a good call though with having LA Knight take the title off Paul. because Paul's not gonna be around every pay-per-view between now and Mania. So if you have him take it off of him at Mania, it's gonna be a good setup because both guys can be brash and talk shit to each other. So it's gonna be a good build.
Yeah, and
That's
I
a
wouldn't
good Mania match.
I wouldn't be surprised to let them let him hold it that long. I mean, if Roman doesn't have to show up to defend his title, why does Logan Paul?
Right.
Why should the rules have to apply differently to anybody else now? If you're a
Yeah.
champion, you can just take a couple months off of TV and not have to defend your title.
Exactly.
That seems to be WWE logic nowadays. So
yeah. And finally, for the World Heavyweight title, Seth freaking Rollins against Drew McIntyre. I would assume this hinges on if Drew's going to resign or not, right?
I think Rollins retains regardless.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, and I don't foresee WWE and Drew getting to the table this week and getting a deal done by Crown Jewel. For my understanding, according to Fightful, that they haven't even come to a table yet to discuss the renewal of his deal, and it's up in like 5 months.
Just so happens I have it right here.
Yeah.
Fightful has reported that many top stars whose contracts are expiring in 2024 have yet to be approached by WWE. Can't say that he has not been approached, but as of now, we're told that Drew McIntyre has not signed a new contract with WWE. There had been some Twitter rumors indicating that he had resigned, but according to what he and WWE have told people, that is not true. Drew McIntyre would be the first major domino that could fall in the TKO era of re-signing major talent to WWE deals. Drew has less than 5 months left on his WWE deal. I have said it all along. I think Drew's walking. I've said it all along.
The return of Drew Galloway.
I've said it all along.
Drew Galloway is all elite.
I just have this feeling he's walking. So we'll see. Let's look at the chat, see what everybody says.
It's going to be really interesting to see what all these contract negotiations look like under that Endeavor umbrella.
And how long
they let Rousey walk away.
I know.
And Rousey's working independent dates now, for crying out loud. Like, they might not be putting out those contracts that people are expecting to get under this new thing, which leaves AEW in a very pretty position, to go in and give these people the money that they want. It's going to be very interesting to see how all this contract stuff plays out in 2024.
Yeah, and especially what are these new deals? Like, are they better than 5 years ago or whatever it was for television, or are they worse? Because I mean, I don't know.
I think without the merger, I think they would have been better, but now under the merger, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Because let's look at the history of the UFC. The UFC hasn't been overly good about paying their talents.
No.
So why are they gonna pay the talents good in WWE, but pay the talents poorly in the UFC? Like, there's a good chance that all these talents, when their deals are up next year, are informed that they're going to have to take less money if they wish to stay. And at that point, it's like, well, do I want to stay and take less money, or do I want to make the same money or more money and go to AEW? It's 2024 is going to be pretty wild. And like, whoever the first person is to enter into contract negotiations under the Endeavor umbrella, it's going to be really interesting to see what domino effect is caused from that point on, based on how it goes. So very, very, very interested in that. I'm very curious to see how that goes.
Yeah, it's that's going to be a major catalyst though too. Is it, the bigger I mean, they were not really killing it on Mondays comparatively to when the new deals have signed. Obviously, Fridays are doing really good, but yet they're leaving Fox, which is.
I mean, they're getting hurt on Mondays right now because they're up against the NFL. I mean, this happens every year.
Yeah, but overall Mondays still haven't really.
When they're not up against the NFL, they're normally doing anywhere between 1.7 to 2.0 million people. They're still doing really strong when they're not up against stiff competition. And it's the same thing for AEW. When they're not up against the NBA or the World Series, their numbers are good too. And that's the main problem. I tell people this is on blue in the face, and nobody freaking understands this. Professional wrestling, if you take live sports out of the equation, It's the #1 programming on cable television, like every single week in the 18 to 49 demo. But it will never touch what live sports is doing. And if pro wrestling's on the same night live sports are on, I'm sorry. Pro wrestling is taking a hit every single time because pro wrestling is not DVR proof. It's not. Companies want to pitch like it is. It's not DVR proof. Like, you want to watch an NFL game live. You want to watch the World Series live. You want to watch an NBA game live. Wrestling, you can DVR. You can go back to it like later that night or the next day. It's not that big of a deal, and that's why it's never going to overtake live sports on weekly cable. It's just not going to happen.
Some sad news to bring up, but on the positive end, the year is almost over. But according to Brian Alvarez from Wrestling Observer, states that Bryan Danielson is going to be out for the rest of the year. Possibly, he's going to have an MRI for his orbital bone. So basically, the story that AEW had said was pretty legit, but confirmed that the rest of the year he is going to be on the shelf. Hopefully, he can return as soon as possible, because obviously this is the last year that he's working full time, and there's a lot of matches left on the table for Brian. So hopefully that'll be early into January. That is all we.
Well, this was first reported by Mike Johnson of PW Insider. If this comes out to be true, which I'm still not 100% sold on.
You think it's a work
because
still?
Look, if you go back and you watch the injury take place on Dynamite, when Brian's down on the apron, he's not holding his eye, he's holding his jaw. Like, it's all about his jaw. Yeah. So I'm curious if they I'm curious what they're trying to do here. Look, and if the injury's legit, here's the problem. Bryan Danielson is the boy who cried wolf in professional wrestling, because he's spent every year since he's returned from that career-ending injury to scare wrestling fans into believing that he's hurt. Like, time and time again. He loves doing it. Yeah. So now we're at the point where maybe you are really hurt, and now people are having trouble believing it because of how many times you've lied to people and claimed that you were hurt when you weren't. So I don't know if I 100% buy Danielson's injury right now.
I loved Claudio's. Claudio's
think this
promo.
Was set up to do. I think this was set up to do Danielson and Okada at Wrestle Kingdom. And if I'm correct on that, there's no way that he's going to be out until next year, because you're trying to tell me his next match is going to be in Tokyo.
Well, I said the rest of the year.
Tokyo Dome. I don't buy that. I don't buy it. I really.
I loved Claudio's promo, angry promo on Collision. That was pretty damn good, I thought. Claudio taking on Orange Cassidy for the international title on Wednesday. I think there's I couldn't find a graphic of everything. I only found 2 things announced for Wednesday.
No, Tony announced Jericho and Omega against Daddy Magic and Cool Hand Ange like an hour ago.
Oh, okay. So then Bullet Club Gold taking on MJF and 3 partners of his choosing,
which I thought was going to be Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, and that's out of the window now.
Joe, Roddy,
because Omega's is doing the other thing. So
maybe Joe and Roddy and maybe Taven or Bennett.
I don't know.
Yeah, I would not hate Claudio taking the title from Orange Cassidy. I would not hate it, to be honest with you, because they're teasing Orange doing something different.
I don't see them flip flopping that title again. They flip flopped it way more than they wanted to due to the injury that Moxley suffered at Grand Slam, and they had to do a lot of flipping and flopping to get that in the way that they got it. So I don't know if they're going to want to do that.
I don't see Wardlow, because
I was going to say I see no reason.
No.
That Wardlow would be teaming with MJF in any way, shape, or form.
Joe's extended his friendship. And Roddy, I think, as Matt said, I don't know
I
if it
think
was on the
Roddy's gonna.
show.
I think Roddy's gonna end up being his partner on
Yeah,
0 Hour at Full
that's
Gear.
what I was just gonna
I
say.
do believe they're like Adam Cole's gonna be like, hey, you guys are both my best friends. Can you do this for me?
Adam!
And go and defend those titles. I think that's what happens. Oh, that's an interesting theory, Mark Joe.
Oh, let me get back to it here. The Dynasty.
Richard Holiday, free agent. Alex Hammerstone requested his MLW release. We do not know if he's received it, but if both of those guys are available,
why don't we just go right into that story?
You bring those guys in, and you do Samoa Joe. That's a hell of a 4-man team.
Why don't we just go right into that story?
Yeah,
as we were going to mention it.
MLW's in some turmoil right now, brother.
Yeah, not just Hammerstone, but the I forget how you say it.
The Samoan SWAT team.
Anawai. I was trying to say it right. I learned how to say it because of doing voiceovers. Anawai. That's how you say it. But Alex Hammerstone, former MLW champion, has requested his release. He's been a fixture in MLW, and the relationship between himself and the company has been, quote, frayed. Hammerstone's deal with the company goes to the end of 2025. Fightful says Hammerstone has not been told himself that the release has been granted or denied. Fightful has been told there's been communication between the two sides earlier in the year, and a buyout was brought up. Hammerstone said he wanted to leave the company. From the company's perspective, Hammerstone's motivation decreased when he was booked to lose the world title to Alex Kane earlier this year. At this moment,
he's only been on MLW programming one time. Since he lost that title, because I cover that product on a weekly basis for WrestleZone. He's only been featured one time since dropping that title.
As of this moment, Hammerstone is under contract, but noticeably not featured on their most recent roster page update. Hammerstone is on a monthly guarantee, which also adds pay-per-event. Sources in MLW have claimed that there were some issues with their September event when Hammerstone asked for the show-off for a prior obligation. This was granted and the money would have been allocated to Hammerstone was used elsewhere. However, MLW sources claim that Hammerstone became available, but the budget wasn't there to add him to the show. So that's not that is not exactly.
Here's the thing: if you're letting Juicy go and you're letting Lance go,
yeah,
how can you sit there
and keep Hammerstone
and force Hammerstone to stay?
Yeah.
It has to be equal treatment across the board. You're either going to honor people requesting their releases or you're not. You can't have it both ways. If you let Lance and Juicy go, you got to let Hammerstone go too. And if you kept Juicy and Lance, then you got to keep Hammerstone as well. It has to be one way or the other.
Yeah, and Fightful said that they had at the time yesterday they did not know if they were granted, but then updated both Lance and Juicy. Their releases were granted. So
yeah, I feel like Hammerstone had to have been granted as well, and he's just keeping quiet.
Maybe. This is going back to we had a story. We were going to do a story on Drew earlier, but kind of interesting little thing here that I came across. Mick Foley actually reached out to Triple H to keep an eye on him in the independent circuit to see the work he was doing because he was impressed with the work he was doing on the independent circuit. Obviously, we saw what he did in Impact, and it was very, very, very good compared to 3MB. Kind of not really. It's kind of a low bar, so to speak. So, very cool news. Vlad the Superfan. Finally, the documentary is out. I don't even know what caused this delay. Do you have any idea of why they sat on it for so long?
No idea. There was a bunch of documentaries that were supposed to be released and never, and they're just sitting on like this. There was the Lex Luger documentary that never got released. Like there's a bunch of stuff that they had ready, and a lot of people believe it had something to do with the when WWE went to Peacock.
Oh,
and between that and their new collaboration with A&E, that some plans on these things changed, but it's still very weird regardless, to have, finished documentaries that you're just sitting on that people want to see, and you're just like not gonna freaking do it.
Of course, talked about this earlier, but Ronda Rousey is going to be wrestling an independent show coming up, and she, of course,
Her second independent show.
This corresponded.
She wrestled one last week.
This corresponded with the WWE moving her to the alumni section of the website.
They petty. Why don't they just move them when their deals are up? Remember when they left Naomi and Sasha on their page for like a year, and they didn't remove Sasha to alumni until she showed up at Wrestle Kingdom, and they didn't move Naomi until she showed up at Impact? Like, just freaking move them when their deals are up, guys. Like, you don't need to sit them there on your freaking roster. It's so freaking weird the way they handle stuff sometimes.
Yeah, Rousey wrestled at Lucha Vavoom on October 26th, teaming with Marina Shafir, one of her 4 horsewomen, taking on the Brian Kendrick and Taya Valkyrie. And she's going to make her debut at Pro Wrestling Revolver Thursday, November 16th. This is on Fight Plus. So this is a pay-per-view-ish type of show.
It's a Thursday night. It's a Thursday night show.
Yeah.
I want to go out of my way to see it. I know I'm supposed to be covering Impact that night, but I'm going to talk to my boss and be like, I think I want to cover Wrestling Revolver that night, sir.
I host trivia Thursday, so I won't watch it live, but I will. I have Fight Plus. It's worth $5 a month or whatever it is now. I think it's $7 now.
Well, as long as you keep it.
Woo, lost my ear.
It's still, if you purchased it on the initial launch, it's still $5 a month. But if you cancel it, and go back, it's like 7 or 8 now, or even higher. Like,
then I must just be getting charged $5 then.
Yeah. If you signed up for the beginning,
I never canceled
you're still getting charged $5 a month. Yeah, Fight Plus is totally freaking worth, totally freaking worth the money. It's probably the best value in pro wrestling right now. But here, look, Rousey's teaming with Shafir on both of these shows.
Oh, this Fightful article didn't say what she was doing.
Yeah, they haven't announced who her opponents are, but she's teaming with Shafir at Revolver. Shafir's an AEW contracted talent.
Mm-hmm.
She wrestled a contracted AEW talent and Taya at the Vavoom show. Jon Moxley and Swerve are both announced for the Revolver show. Sami Callihan it's very clear Jon Moxley is doing everything in his power to get his friend a job at AEW.
Yep.
I cannot and will not rule out the possibility that Ronda Rousey will be All Elite before the year is over.
That'd be wild, man.
I can't rule it out. So
watch him then get Jessamine Duke, and then Shayna's not really being booked well.
I don't know what Baszler's deal's up.
Yeah.
But look, look. It's already been said that Mercedes is coming in once her ankle is 100% good to go. If you have Rousey and Mercedes injected into that women's division, people are going to take it a whole lot more seriously, a whole lot more quicker.
And one more update here for you before we let you go, baby. Baby. Heath Slater is no longer with Impact Wrestling. He is currently a free agent.
Don't know what he's gonna do, but I love Heath, man. I hope he lands something good.
I wish he was booked better in Impact, which I thought he would be, because he was actually being taken serious.
Well, he had that long injury there too.
He did, yeah. That's
unfortunately, which I think really derailed his push there from the get go.
Well, we already ran down Raw earlier. That we both went meh. Sean Ross Sapp has not updated yet. So with that said, we're going to bid you adieu. And hope you guys enjoy the week. Hope you guys enjoy Raw tonight. I'm probably going to watch it on DVR, to be honest with you. Last week just bored me to death. And right now that rundown does not look good. So I'm going to probably watch the game and root for my fantasy team to make a big comeback. And with that said, any further last thoughts there, Matt?
Nah, just hoping for a good show tonight. Hoping for a good week in professional wrestling. We'll see how it goes.
You know it. And I got kids. For Matt Black, this is Jeremy Bennett. Thank you for tuning in to Lost in the Midcard, brought to you by Bet Online. Make sure you catch us next week with our Crown Jewel review. Yeah!